Welcome back to Digital Bike Review. Today I'm going to review the Enfitnix Cubelite Smart Taillight. I bought the Cubelite on Amazon. I paid $27.99. Shipping time was about a week with all the COVID going on. I was really happy with the shipping time, even with the post office being slow. What grabbed my attention with this taillight over others is the fact that it would light up as you start to slow down and stop, hopefully grabbing attention of the cars behind you. It states that the battery life is about 30 hours, that it's waterproof. I would probably say that it's more water resistant than waterproof. The rear USB where you charge it, the plastic plug goes in there. So I would think that it would keep the water out fairly well, but I wouldn't submerge this device. Here's the packaging for the Cubelite. Inside of the box, you'll find the Cubelite in a plastic tray, the quick down tube rubber attachment, 4 zip ties, the instructions in multiple language, and not pictured in this picture is the saddle mount. I have the saddle mount attached to my bikes at this point in time. Here's a picture of the Cubelite itself. The Cubelite is just over an inch wide and half an inch or an inch and a half tall. Charging the Cubelite's easy. You just pull the rubber plug on the back and plug in the USB in between the rear clip. As it'll charge, the USB light will turn from red to green to let you know that it's fully charged. I couldn't get the saddle mount to fit on our Townies. The Townies have an oversized seat on them, and it was too wide for the saddle mount to fit. I decided to mount them on my rear pannier rack. It would fit in between the two panniers when they were attached, so people behind you could see the light. I used 2 of the zip ties that came with the light to go through the holes around the rack and the mount. And I found out that when it was attached, it would slide and pull out of that zip tie. So I ended up using a second set that I had, and they went around the first zip tie through the mount, and it was locking that zip tie in place, keeping the mount from slipping inside the first set of zip ties. And you can see it here in the pictures. Here are the instructions that came with the light. To turn on the Cubelite, you press the button once, and it's in auto mode. If you press it twice, it'll put it in manual mode, so then you have to turn it on and off. All you need to do is just clip it on your bike and go for a ride. Here I'm showing the daytime modes of the Cubelite. When the Cubelite is in auto mode, it takes movement to wake the Cubelite. The idle daytime flash is at the top of the LEDs. I kind of wish that the Cubelite would flash the whole circle when it's just idling to grab a driver's attention. I'm thinking the designers wanted the brighter stoplight to grab driver's attentions when you're stopping, and that's the reason why they didn't have it flash continuously. Extending the battery life by just firing that one little LED versus the whole circle. As you can see, the light's fairly bright during the daylight hours. And switch the camera over to night mode. I have the Cubelights in auto mode. The Cubelite will turn off after 10 seconds of movement. As you can see, it just takes one little tap to re-wake the Cubelite. As you're standing at a stoplight, your little movements that you're doing on the bike is going to keep that light turned on, so you don't have to worry about it just going off unless you're holding completely still. You can also double click the Cubelite and put it into manual mode. And when you have it in manual mode, then it'll stay lit continuously and until you press the button, like a long press, to actually turn it off. My final thoughts on the Enfitnix Cubelite. I really like the Cubelites, and I've liked them so much that I've ended up buying 3. I probably would have only gone with 2. The Enfitnix doesn't sell just the saddle mount by itself, so I ended up having to buy a third one for another hard saddle mount to mount on one of the new bikes that we got. The sensitivity of all 3 of the Cubelites seem a little different. As you can see in the videos, as I tap them, they all kind of react just a little different, but when you're riding, they all seem to work just fine. And same thing with the buttons. As you press the buttons, the sensitivity on getting them to click is just a little different on each one of them. But overall, that isn't a huge issue. The reason why I like the Cubelite is that it mimics a taillight on a vehicle. I think we're all pretty much accustomed to look for a taillight as we're driving. And so drivers are on the lookout for those lights. They may not be expecting it on a bike, but having it there and knowing that it's flashing as they slow down is a little comfort. I still don't expect the cars to slow down or stop if they're paying attention to us as we're biking, but at least I know there's that little added security of that light getting bright as we're riding along. I find that the use of the rubber strap is a little hard to use to get the NFX on and off of it. You have to remove the Cubelite from the rubber strap to charge it, and then you're having to put it back on the bike. It's so soft that it just kind of folds as you're trying to get it on there. The other thing is that when you're riding, I've noticed that the strap will actually turn a little bit as you're riding, and the light's no longer centered directly behind you. Thanks for watching today. Please subscribe to our channel. I'm going to leave you with a short video of us riding around the neighborhood. You can see all the debris left over from Hurricane Sally as it came through. And now that it's not in the hundreds, it's a little nicer to ride. So thanks for watching, and be safe.